Brian has always stayed away from the outliers, the great big bulls, the bulls that have the highest EPDs and this, that, or the other thing.
Our very first brochure, we came out in 2003. Our biggest challenge is providing a product somebody needs in a package they want to buy. It's our responsibility, by listening to our customers, to give them what they need in that package they like buying.
Yeah, it has to work for the guy that's buying his bulls. It has to work for that guy, or Brian's out of business. But it has to work for the ultimate consumer that's getting a good eating experience every time.
We got together with Brian about 4 or 5 years ago, and it turned out to be a perfect fit. Brian was all into genetics. What is the type of cow that you're trying to raise?
What kept me excited about the Angus is when we were running our 9-breed bull test, every breed except the Angus breed was saying, our breed's the best, just come buy them. They're the best for every trait in the world. You just come buy one and they're all the same. They're all good. And the Angus started picking themselves apart. They started going in and saying, not all bulls are created equal. There's some that will have lighter calves, but you're also going to have lighter weaning weights. There's some that have bigger calves at birth. They're going to have bigger weaning weights. There's some cows that are going to have more milk. Some are going to have less milk.
The one thing about his bulls, they don't come in when they go out on the field and they're too fat, too heavy. They seem to travel really well.
Got good feet under them. And one thing about them too, I don't think they're not real big bulls, so they're not, it doesn't take as much to feed them, and they still raise a good big calf. But I don't think they're the extreme like some other bulls we buy are really big, and his aren't that way. They're more rangy.
The bulls that I buy aren't just heifer bulls. I don't buy cow bulls. These bulls work all the way across the board for everything, and they grow up here. They're here until they're too old to move around out in the hills.
When the first bulls, when he was first starting to sell bulls, he was talking about consistency and the middle of the road. I think he had it figured out pretty early.
They're probably the best feed, and I think that goes back to just they're not so fat and fed, a lot of corn and stuff where it blows their feet out when they're young, and then they kind of fight that throughout their life. Those bulls come in and they're ready to go to work and they're not too fat and their feet aren't too long or soft, they do good.
It's just like a human being. If you've got somebody that grows up and they've got wear the wrong shoes and they have trouble with their feet, a bull has to move around in order to cover the cows that he's responsible for. And if his feet are sore, he doesn't move. And then he gets lame and he doesn't move at all, so he has to be culled from the herd. And you don't have that trouble with Brian's bulls.
They just don't fight as much as they used to, but they still go through his fences just like they always did. And
how are your dogs with the bulls?
they're okay.
And that really grew, and then it grew into the carcass traits. Some are going to have more marbling, some are going to taste better, some are not. And they were willing to be vulnerable enough to pick themselves apart and really let people prescription breed their herds. If you like big cows and you want to sell big calves, you could go to a sale that's selling 100 bulls and you could buy the 15 bulls that are going to do that.
They're a little less wild, I think. They used to fight a lot more than they do now. But barbed wire fences don't hold bulls. Some things don't change.
So we used to just wash them just 2 days before the sale. Once we learned how to do dry running, where you run them through a situation that they're going to go through, they have to go through, it's nice to just kind of run them through in a calm manner and get used to the alleys, get used to the ring, get used to something new. And then when they come back in on sale day 2 days later, they know where they're going, it didn't hurt, they're okay with it, and they're just much calmer on sale day because they've been through it before and everything was okay.
If you've got hot-headed bulls, then you know that you will breed back into it. But in my case, it's if you're running 1,000 cows, you know, how easy is it to take care of those cows?
You want to remember the beef industry started with Longhorns. And the Longhorns, if you take a look at one compared to a Black Angus today, there's no comparison at all. It's like comparing a Volkswagen Bug car to a Cadillac Eldorado. The Angus and the beef business today, regardless of what breed it is, if you're doing it right, you're raising a product like the world has never seen before.
Yeah, it is hereditary.
Okay.
I mean, they have learned that, you know, that marbling is a trait that's into them, and part of the reason that the whole world has gone Angus. Originally, the Angus was a smaller breed, and that they had, you know, a high degree of marbling, and that is what the market is today. They want the value of choice in prime beef. Now, the packers, as well as the feeders, are all about, you know, how the carcass is going to grade.
And you can't control the market or the weather, and so then all you can do is lay your cards on the table and hope they come back and buy a bull from you. And that's more powerful in my mind than saying, I'll buy your calves, but you have to buy your bulls from me. You got to spend X amount of dollars. If you lay out this script, that's how we started building a loyal customer base.